Behind the Shades.
Hi, Darren, and thank you for inviting me for this Behind the Show Shades show. My name is Manohar, and I am from India. So I am working currently in the software industry. So it's a multinational company, uh, and I'm working in the software industry since the last 14 and a half years. So what happened was approximately four years uh, previously. So exactly in the 2019-ish time frame, what happened was I was going through personal issues and also professional issues. And what happened was I used to think a lot about these things, and I used to what I did was I started obsessively reading personal development books. So it could be any genre kind of personal development books, and I used to just read those books before going to sleep. And what I used to happen was, since I was reading obsessively, I used to not go and fall asleep without reading a book. So if the book was incomplete, my mind was always to complete that thing and then go to sleep. So and then slowly, once I was reading these books, I realized that cutting down on sleep consciously is something big mistake which I'm doing. Then I realized that I have to go to sleep immediately. But everyone understands this part. Like if you try hard to sleep, you can't go to sleep, and that is the problem I was facing a lot. And I was trying so hard to sleep, and with every passing day, my mind was completely on how do I fix my sleep schedules? How do I fix my sleep schedules? And that completely messed up my sleep thing. And I went to a psychologist, and I got some few counseling sessions there. And then actually, the biggest game changer for me was the practice of meditation. When I started meditation, and slowly, these worry thoughts started phasing out, and then I was able to go back to proper sleep.
So when you realized that you were having this difficulty sleeping, because I know for me, I'm always looking at I need my 6 hours, I need my 7 hours, I need my 8 hours because I'm trying to be as replenished,
Mhm.
refreshed, replenished,
Yes.
sorry, and refreshed as possible. But for
Mhm.
you were doing activities that were kind of keeping you up late. And I think many
Mhm.
of us suffer from that, right? Many of us have our cell phones in our bedroom. We're looking at
Yes.
the blue lights, we're typing away, we're trying to see,
Yes.
okay, does this girl like me? Does this man like me? Am I going to have a
Yeah.
date tomorrow? Right? So we're trying to figure
Yeah.
it out. But
Yeah.
what did it take for you to say, hey, what I'm doing is wrong? What I'm doing is preventing me from getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Like, how did you
Yeah.
make that change?
That's a very interesting question, Terry. So what happened was, since I told like I started reading obsessively, and in one of the book, the author suggests like to watch TED Talks. So I'm hoping that most of you know what exactly is a TED Talk. For people who don't know, TED Talk is a simple talk show, just like we are having this. So TED Talk is where a host talks about a specific 18 minutes time frame and on a specific topic. And coincidentally, the topic happened to be sleep is your superpower. And I don't remember who gave that talk. And what the narrator was talking about is cutting down consciously on sleep, like what Terrain was talking about, like whether anything, it could be any activity. In my case, it was obsessively reading books. And in many cases, like people are continuously watching their WhatsApp or Facebook or whatever kind of thing, and worried about what to do next and what to do next. So what happens is when you cut down on your sleep, there are if you read the book Why We Sleep by Matt Walker, he explains about what happens when you sleep and all those things. But the core point is this: when you cut down consciously on sleep, you like instead of like what Terrain was saying, if he just sleeps for 6 hours, if he's cutting down consciously to 4 hours, you just see that 2 hours he has lost on sleep. But the last 2 hours give the maximum replenishment. So the maximum change, the maximum refreshment is coming in the last hours. But so when you just think that you cut down on 2 hours, but you lose out on the maximum benefits of sleep. So that is the thing. So what used to happen in my case was I started losing hair, left, right, and center. So every day when I woke up, there was a very big pile of hair that was there beside my bed. And I started having low, I was feeling low on energy whenever I went to work. And the worst part was I started getting micro sleeps when I was driving my car. So on highway, I remember a scene when a thing when I was driving my car and I just had a micro sleep. I don't remember how I crossed that 200 250 meters, and it was like very scary. I had my heart in my mouth, and that those things really scared a lot of me. And that is when I come to realization that I'm cutting down consciously on sleep, and all these physical changes started happening for me.
I can share a story about that, about the
Okay.
micro sleep and falling asleep at the wheel. It's not me, it's a friend.
Okay.
And this person, they're driving late at night, just like you, right? And they were having difficulty staying awake because they're so sleep deprived. They're getting very few hours of sleep during the day. That person was driving home. Time of their life, they're feeling good. They fell asleep at the wheel on the highway now, right? So this is like people are going 100 kilometers, 100 miles, 120. The person woke up. As they woke up, they were actually pushing another car that was sideways on the
Okay.
highway. They crashed and they didn't even know. They just woke up and there's this car in front of them that they're pushing. Scary, right?
Yes.
And that's one thing that I always didn't want to happen to me because it's so dangerous to suffer from, let's say, narcolepsy, where you just fall asleep wherever, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's a little bit different than insomnia because insomnia is like you can sleep, you're just not getting enough of it. With narcolepsy, is like you just fall asleep wherever, whenever. You can be driving a car, you can be talking to a friend, you can be on this podcast, right? And the person just you're like, oh, okay, Manohar, you're still here. So it is kind of scary, and then it's somewhat socially awkward because think about it, right? Let's say you're talking to someone and you're just having a full conversation, and they just fall asleep. Do you leave them there? Do you kind of like give them a nudge and push them?
Yeah.
So I always stress that sleep is important. Like for me, around 10 p.m., 11 p.m. at night, I have my bedroom routine, meaning that I'm actually in my bedroom. I may be
Yeah.
laying down, I may be just thinking about what happened that day or planning for tomorrow. I try to decompress and leave whatever stress I had for that day for that day. Like I don't bring it to my bedroom, I don't fall asleep on it. I definitely don't bring it into my sleep.
Yeah.
So for you, when you're looking to help others prevent this, because losing your hair and all this other stuff, these are very serious,
Yes.
serious impacts. So
Yes.
what would you want to share with those who are suffering from this and they don't know what to do, Manohar?
Yeah. So that's a very interesting question, Terry. So the biggest change which someone needs to do is like what Terrain was talking about, having some sleep rituals. So there is a concept called as designated worry time. So what you do in that is, let's say like what Terrain was giving his example, like he goes to bed, I mean, starts going to bed at 10 p.m. So you have to put something like a 9:45 or 15 minutes time wherein you have like what Terry talked about, contemplating what happened today. So there could be so many things which are running on the back of your mind. So basically when you do this designated worry time, you have to think about the day or anything which is worrying you, and then try to resolve that issue within that time. And only when that issue is resolved, then go to bed, because you shouldn't be going on the bed, tossing and turning, and then thinking about these things, because the problem is the brain has one and the biggest agenda of the brain is to protect you from pain, any kind of pain. So if you are staying down on the bed and then thinking about your pain, it works for 1 day or 2 days. But then if you are doing this activity over and over again, then you start cutting down on sleep, and then you all these changes happen. So there could be many things which you could do with, which is a downtime which you can do. So what I did was, basically there are few changes which I did in my personal life, which is like I used to have dinner pretty late at the night, so I started having early dinners. Then I used to spend some time watching binge watching news channels and all those things. So I cut down on that. And then I used to have some time wherein I used to just do some drawings with my kid. And then also the biggest game changer happened was the practice of meditation, and also the practice of mindfulness. So for anyone who is struggling with this, so you have to start incrementally by doing implementing small sleep rituals, wherein you also give importance to your downtime. So it is not a case wherein our sleep doesn't happen something like you switch off a remote and you go to sleep. That doesn't happen that way. So you need to have some downtime, or invest some time in slowing down, and then calm down, and also have a designated worry time. That helps a lot.
So how much sleep are you getting now? And is it quality sleep that you're getting?
Yeah. So Taryn, I don't want to. Yeah. So again, the biggest problem I see with insomniacs is they start measuring the time. They think that so much to so much. So if you get 6 hours of sleep, that's correct, or 8 hours of sleep, that's correct. So and then there have been people asking me like, I'm getting only 2 hours of sleep, and how do I sustain with that? So to answer that question, this is what exactly my psychologist told me. So you shouldn't be thinking about a number. So let's say, like, if you wake up in the morning and you still feel groggy and you have a lot of headache, so that's a way of your body telling you that you are not ready to start your day. So most of the people, what they do is, because they have to go to their offices and all those things, they wake up groggy and then have caffeine, which gives that boost, and shakes them up. But that's a way of disrespecting your body. You wouldn't like to disrespect your body. So if I go to sleep, like exactly what you told, around 10 p.m. I have my sleep rituals, and then if I still feel that I'm not able to work, I consciously take half an hour break kind of a thing, and then I just lay down. I don't bother if I slept or not, but I'm giving the rest, because my body is demanding the rest, and I'm giving my body the rest. So that is what is more important for me, rather than getting on the numbers. So that is my take on this.
And that's a good point. And I will say that I agree. I know there's times where we would say that our goal is to get 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours,
Yeah.
10 hours.
Mhm.
I've always felt that for me, I mentioned the 6 to 8 hours because of the routine that I have. I get quality sleep. And I think
So
that's where some people forget that when you wake up, you don't want to feel tired. You don't want to feel groggy, as you mentioned, right? You don't want to feel
yes,
like, "Oh, let me go back to sleep." You want to feel like you can conquer the day.
yes,
And I've realized that that's my routine. Like when I'm in my bedroom routine at 10, 11, I won't
Mhm.
wake up until, let's say, about 7, 7:30, and I feel good,
Yeah.
right? And I know there's some
Mhm.
people that when they wake up, they're like, not today.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
is that what you're talking about, where it's the quality of the
Yes.
sleep and not the quantity of the hours?
Yeah, absolutely, Terren. You are spot on that. And yeah, so like so I'm not saying that there aren't days where I do. So in fact, I have been practicing meditation since that, and I do feel few days where I don't feel like waking up. But then in those days, I don't rush about and then do those things, and I consciously take some time off in the day by cutting down and then giving my body the rest. So it's not it's yeah, quality is definitely important, but then listening to your body, if your body demands that attention, that it wants its rest, so you need to give the body the rest, is my take on this.
And you mentioned meditation. What if I'm not what if I'm the type of person that's not into meditation, right? Like, what else can be done to assist me outside of meditation, if anything?
Yeah. So yeah, this is a very common question that I get asked. Like meditation, I don't think meditation is my cup of tea. So there are many other things which you could do. One is called as practice of gratitude. So so we take too many things for granted. So and this is the problem. And our brain always starts looking for things that are not there in our life. So this practice of gratitude, what it does is it actually grounds you, and then it puts you in a state of relaxation. So in fact, there have been so many scientific studies also they have done, and there is a very good book also called The Happiness Project by Sean Aker, where he talks about Harvard graduates who have gone into Harvard study, and then they have felt that after doing the study, they felt that running those rat race, they felt a lot bad, and how the practice of gratitude improves these things. And then there could be other things like I have started this recently called as journaling, wherein you write down the things that are there in your life, and that also helps. And there's another thing called as mindfulness. So mindfulness is a practice wherein like we as a generation, this tech generation, we have so many things at our disposal. So we start eating our food and then keep checking our WhatsApp or those kinds of things. So so mindfulness is all about living in the present moment without thinking about the past or worrying about the present or the future. So when you consciously eat, you concentrate on the food that you're eating, you're chewing, and then you smell the food. And when you do these things, what actually you're doing is you're training your mind to stop thinking about the future and also the past, and you live in the present moment. So that's the actually called the power of now, where you live in the present moment, and that actually makes a lot of difference. So if you think that meditation is not your cup of tea, mindfulness is something which you can start and do it in increments, and that makes a lot of difference. And of course, there are also forms like mandala art and zentangle. That is also a relaxation things which you can try.
And that's a wealth of information for those listening. Try those things because it can help you. I know that there's many people that when they watch a movie or a show, they have to be eating something, right? They need to preoccupy themselves either with food or something else. I used to date someone, and she would have like a full course meal in the bed while watching TV with her phone. So she had a fork in one hand, she had the remotes in the other, and she had everything going on around her. And that's a very easy way to gain weight. And as you mentioned, it's a very easy way to prevent yourself from being mindful of what is going around you because you're just occupying yourself and just keeping yourself busy. So Manohar, you raised some very good points, and I want to thank you for that because it's helpful. And you probably find, because I know I find a lot of people don't take sleep seriously. How can we make it something that is serious? How can we make it sexy? How can we make it to the point where everyone views it as being very important to their overall health?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a very interesting point. So yeah, so this is one thing which I often see. So people think that though I want to sleep, when I talk this, I want to sleep. I feel that I want to get that one show of Netflix, which is my favorite, and that or whatever. So there are so many venues wherein you can get so much of entertainment right now with just with a click of a button. So one thing, Terry, what I feel is you have to understand this point that sleep is the fundamental aspect or pillar on which your health lies. So the thing what you need to do is when you make those adjustments, don't start making an adjustment which is like so big. So for example, let's say that someone is going to sleep at 1 a.m. In the night. So then they realize that something is not working out. So they shouldn't start trying to fall asleep from 10 a.m. 10 p.m. itself. It doesn't work that way. So making a drastic shift doesn't work. So you have to make those increments of very small increments. So this is exactly what is being taught in the book Atomic Habits, wherein you make small changes, and that's when you are able to improve on your sleep schedules. And coming to the part where how do we make a sleep happy thing. So first thing is consciously cutting down on sleep. You have to consciously be aware that you're cutting down on sleep. First thing is awareness. The second thing is you have to take small actionable steps. And then also when you take those actionable steps, you need to celebrate. So for example, someone is taking those actionable steps that they are cutting down on 15 minutes. So they need to celebrate, because once you are able to celebrate, then the mind realizes that I'm able to conquer this addictive behavior. And then the mind starts giving you reward. And then slowly, once you are able to get those celebrations going, then you will be able to make those shifts, is my take on this.
And I appreciate you sharing that, because I want everyone to truly understand the very, very important nature of sleep. And Manohar, if you can share a best practice for the next generation, or if you can share words of wisdom for the next generation after you and I, what would you tell them about sleep?
Okay. The biggest thing which I would say is sleep is not a liability. Sleep is an investment. So everyone needs to treat that as an investment, because the better you sleep, the better are your chances for the next day and also your goals. And the other thing which I want to say is people think that want to get rich quick, want to do things very insanely fast kind of thing. So you have to understand that Rome was not built in a day. There's a saying, Rome was not built in a day. So you need to break down your very big goals into small goals, which you can achieve in small things. I mean, in a day, you can achieve those small percentage of your goal, and that's how you'll be able to do it. So that is the thing. And consciously don't cut down on your sleep.